This, friends, is the Isle. And within this particular vast region known as Gateway, there exist dinosaurs. A great collection of creatures with personalities, traits, and even families as large as the Isle itself. And one particular individual who lurks in Gateway is the colorful omniraptor known as Kyroos. While in yours and my time, the amount of time that has passed since we first met Kyroos has been quite short, in Isle time, it's been much longer. If you recall from our first meeting with Kyroos, he was born and abandoned in the South Plains and resolved to make his way northeast, where he can sense there is a greater amount of food and activity. Along the way, he experienced many firsts, including swimming, his first meal, his first kill, and the first time he ended up giving himself food poisoning. When we last left him, he had stopped to rest in his travels just short of the highlands. But in the time that has passed since we last saw him, he managed to traverse the highlands and make his way to the northeast plains. And joining him now, we see that he's made a friend, who he comes to recognize as being called Sway. Their first meeting is rather civil, and soon enough the two are off in search of food, with Sway taking particular interest in a Deinosuchus that was calling out and causing him trouble earlier in the day. As they prepare to make their move, they are quickly attacked by an adult Herrerasaurus. The Herrerasaurus, having played a clever trick and holding the upper hand, bellows proudly from the safety of the tree, and as Kyroos and Sway begin to make their way out of the area, the Herrerasaurus makes a daring leap from the tree for one more final swipe, and once again makes it to the tree before it can be taught a lesson. As it continues to roar at Kyroos mockingly, he can hear the cry of a Tenontosaurus hatchling. Even so, Sway is interested in finding out if the Deinosuchus that was giving him trouble earlier may yet be deceased, hoping to feed off of it if possible. Kyroos stays slightly behind and moves through the forest. Amid the defiant cries and calls of more Herrerasaurus, it isn't long before he finds the body of the Deinosuchus Sway was looking for. It is in fact no longer alive. However, because the body sits in the middle of the water, Kyroos and Sway will not be able to feed from it. Kyroos soon sees a small dinosaur running across the shoreline towards the brush, and decides to give chase. And while he does not catch it, he does come upon the body of a deceased Herrerasaurus, which he grabs and brings back to Sway to allow him to feed some more. On his way back to his friend, Kyroos cannot help but feel slightly cathartic at the thought of carrying back a Herrerasaurus. While he was unable to capture the one who continually attacked him, knowing that they will soon be feeding on one makes him feel just a little bit better. He shakes the nutrient-rich organs from the body and stands nearby as Sway feeds. And it isn't long before they realize they have company, for they can both hear the low chuff of a Ceratosaurus. Unsure of the exact size of the creature, but knowing that if it is full-grown, or possibly even a subadult, it could still do some serious damage to them, if not end them outright. The pair must stay vigilant. However, after a moment or two, they feel safe and feeding resumes. As is the case with many creatures, not long after feeding, they must quench their thirst, and so they both head to the Great Lake that sits at the center of the Eastern Plains. They both drink quickly and manage to make it away alive. They are both very fortunate that another Deinosuchus wasn't nearby, as it could have spelled the end for both of them. Having had their fill of food and water, the pair heads to the top of a grassy knoll to rest and socialize. Soon enough, realizing that they are both incredibly exposed, the decision is made to rest upon the wall that creates the border of the Eastern Plains. Sway scales the wall with ease, while Kyroos struggles slightly behind, having difficulty holding his balance. With Sway very far ahead, Kyroos begins running to try to catch up. However, after making one of his jumps, he misses his landing and breaks one of his legs. It's soon decided that Sway will stay atop the wall, and Kyroos will conceal himself in a bush. As they are both taking time to rest, night soon gives way to day. And before too long, the pair rejoin each other to continue perusing the isle, once again in search of food. They find a few bodies soon enough, and take their time removing what they need from it to keep their diets as pristine as possible. As it happens, at least within the confines of the Isle, the more perfect the diet of a dinosaur, the more advantages that dinosaur has. Such advantages can include the ability to not tire so quickly, the ability to heal from wounds faster, the ability for a wound to stop up quicker, better overall night vision, and even the ability to grow faster. Soon enough, Sway picks up what he believes to be the call of a baby omniraptor. In a bid to try to locate and protect the hatchling, Kyroos and Sway call out to it, hoping for a response. However, at least for the time being, it is to no avail. Later on in the afternoon, they once again come across a Herrerasaurus, only this time, it hasn't attacked them. They both miss it, and even so, Kyroos, frustrated from his previous experience with the Herrerasaurus, makes a flying leap for it, missing it once again before being reminded by Sway not to re-break his leg. Having come across some food, as Kyroos moves in for a bite, he catches sight of a much smaller Herrerasaurus, running away from the body, likely scavenging from it as they are about to. He gives chase, however the dinosaur is very difficult to see in the grass, and it does eventually outmaneuver him, frustrating him further. High above him in the safety of the tree, Kyroos can hear the Herrerasaurus relentlessly taunting him for his lack of agility. As before, he makes a leap at the Herrerasaurus. And another. Once again being reminded not to break his leg again, he relents and the pair move on. Later in the day, as the pair are once again feasting, they begin to languish over the amount of noises they hear from neighboring Ceratosaurus, with Sway wishing to investigate the sound to estimate the size of the animal making it, to see if perhaps the pair can take it down. As it happens, on their way to investigate the sound, the pair run into a small, juvenile omniraptor, whom they come to know as Turner. For a while, the trio spend time eating, socializing, and moving about the isle, without much care. However, soon enough they return to the idea of investigating the Ceratosaurus sounds. They realize that there are 2 adult Ceratosaurus and 2 young Ceratosaurus. And as they are discussing a plan to get one of the young ones away, they are soon discovered by a large adult Ceratosaurus. The attack causes them to scatter, and while they are able to outmaneuver it, damage has been dealt. However, this incident only further solidifies their resolve to take out at least one of the Ceratosaurus. Soon enough, in all of the confusion, one of the juveniles is left alone, and Sway wastes no time in bringing it down, with Kyroos soon coming to his aid to help him finish the job. However, they are both not quite quick enough, and while the young Ceratosaurus has been dispatched, all 3 are soon chased away by one of the adults. Heading back into the small forest, the 3 are once again able to easily outmaneuver the larger Ceratosaurus through the trees, and decide to take time to rest and heal from the battle.